Okay, I'm jumping right into this one because it's really early and I forgot to post last night. So now I'm talking about the end times at 6 a.m. Yeah, let's start by reading this passage. We're in Luke 12, starting in verse 35, running to 48. I'm going to read it for you. I'm pretty sure I'm allowed. I'll figure this out as we go. Be dressed for service and keep your lamps burning as though you were waiting for the master to return from the wedding feast. Then you'll be ready to open the door and let him in the moment he arrives and knocks. The servants who are ready and waiting for his return will be rewarded. I tell you the truth, he himself will seat them, put on an apron, and serve them as they sit and eat. He may come in the middle of the night or just before dawn, but whenever he comes, he'll reward the servants who are ready. Understand this, if a homeowner knew exactly when a burglar was coming, he would not permit his house to be broken into. You also must be ready all the time, for the Son of Man will come when least expected. Peter asked, Lord, is that illustration just for us or for everyone? And the Lord replied, a faithful, sensible servant is the one to whom the master can give the responsibility of managing his other household servants and feeding them. If the master returns and finds that the servant has done a good job, there will be a reward. I tell you the truth, the master will put that servant in charge of all he owns. But what if the servant thinks, my master won't be back for a while, and begins beating the other servants, partying and getting drunk? The master will return unannounced and unexpected, and he will cut the servant in pieces and banish him with the unfaithful. And the servant who knows what the master wants but isn't prepared and doesn't carry out those instructions will be severely punished. But someone who does not know and then does something wrong will be punished only lightly. When someone has been given much, much will be required in return. And when someone has been entrusted with much, even more will be required. So yeah, that's our passage for 6 a.m. Throughout the time that Jesus was traveling and preaching, he often gave warnings about two future events. One was his arrest and execution, which he also promised them would be followed by his resurrection from the dead. The second was a time much later when he plans to come rule the earth for a period of time. As we read the Old Testament, we can see that both events are predicted and signs of the approach of each are given in the Old Testament. In fact, some of the confusion on the part of the Jews over what the Messiah would do was caused by thinking that these two events were one and the same. We see more discussion of this second event, which is often called the Day of the Lord or the Second Coming of Christ in the New Testament. It's in both. In this passage, Jesus is preparing his followers for that second coming. Jesus' first stay on earth was for the purpose of providing a way to be saved, to become a member of his kingdom. He came gently, quietly, humbly. Angels told shepherds who told their friends in a sleepy little village in Israel. Most people didn't even know what happened. His second coming, he warns us, will be a little different. We're told in other passages that he will suddenly appear and every living person will see it all at once. He is coming with military might and he is establishing his kingdom on earth. He's going to reign as king of the whole planet for 1,000 years, maybe. Some people think this is literally exactly 1,000 years. Others think that it's a metaphor. Honey, it's 6 a.m. I don't know. I lean towards probably being literal. I don't know. And no, not everyone will be happy about it. I am really not clear on what this is going to look like. Anyone who thinks they are is probably mistaken, but we don't have to worry about missing it. We are warned that there will be whispers and rumors and people trying to convince one another that Jesus has come and he's setting up his kingdom here or there. For all the things the Bible says that I don't fully understand, it is abundantly clear about this. When Jesus comes the second time, everyone will know instantly. So if you hear rumors and whispers, they're lies. Don't go looking for Jesus and chasing after some elusive kingdom. You won't be able to miss it when he comes. So all that to say, in this passage, Jesus is saying, be ready. You don't know when it's happening. Strangely, Jesus tells us that he doesn't know. It seems that as a human, he even gave up his omniscience, so he had to trust his Father just as much as we do. But he knew his scriptures. He spent time with his Father, and he knew the time was coming. He wanted his followers to be waiting faithfully, ready for him, because for those who love him and are living in a way that will make him smile when he returns, that return is going to be a beautiful thing. But for those who have rejected him, it's going to be scary. Jesus tells his disciples not to become lazy or rebellious in the waiting. Jesus knows that soon he won't be among them. When the boss is around, it's easy to be productive and responsible, but when the boss is on vacation, we can get sloppy. Jesus is warning them and us that the day of his return is going to be a surprise. No one is going to see it coming, which begs the question why so many Christians waste so much time and effort trying to interpret world events to predict when he's going to come. I feel like if God said, you're not going to know, you're not going to know. There's my 6 a.m. rant. So Jesus says, live your life in a way that whenever I do come, you'll be glad I showed up when I did. He says, you aren't going to know when I'm coming because, quite frankly, if you knew, you'd probably slack off and do your own thing and then clean the place up just before I got back. Believers in Jesus have work to do in his absence. We need to be living like Jesus, taking care of the poor and sick, acting with integrity, telling others about him. That's what he wants us to be doing when he comes back. And just as importantly, that's what he wants us to be doing every day between now and then. So this little dialogue with Peter is interesting. Jesus is using a parable as he teaches, and Peter is curious. Is this just for us, Lord? Are you just warning those of us who are leaders? Jesus' reply is fascinating to me. Basically, he's warning them that they will be held responsible to the degree to which they know the master, who is Jesus in the parable, which is very interesting. I see what I think are 3 types of waiters. The first is the faithful and wise manager. He had been given a job to do in his master's absence, and he did it diligently. So when the master comes home, the master actually serves him. I don't even know what to do with that, but clearly faithfulness is rewarded, and I'm going to leave it there. The second is the manager who knows what he's supposed to do and decides the master isn't coming back anytime soon, so he absolutely disregards what he knows he should be doing and is abusive to those for whom he's supposed to be caring. That ends horribly. The remaining servants are not in charge. They have jobs to do, but they have varying degrees of understanding of their tasks. Jesus says they will be held responsible to the extent that they knew their job. If they were supposed to be taking care of the horses, but no one ever gave them clear instructions, then if the horses are malnourished and their hooves are cracked and overgrown, that's not okay, and they will still be punished. I mean, if your job is caring for the horses, use your head. Some of their needs, hi Teddy, are pretty obvious, but their punishment is somehow less because they hadn't been given enough information to do their job well. How does that translate into what will happen when Jesus comes back? I'm not 100% sure. This I do know. When he returns, we will all be given clear instructions on how to live well in the kingdom. And it will be a kingdom whose ruler is Jesus. So it's going to be a really good place. And we will be given the opportunity to live in his kingdom or reject it. At the end of time, when Jesus rules this earthly kingdom, he will finally bring an end to anyone who still chooses to oppose him. He will bring heaven to earth and restore the earth and anyone who wants to live with him. Pain, suffering, cruelty, and injustice will finally be banished, and we and the whole earth will be healed. The earth will be healed. I'm so hyped for that. Life will be the way it was when God created the world and called it good. I'm looking forward to that day. I don't fully understand what all happens between now and then. I don't remotely understand what all happens between now and then. There are bits of prophecy that hint at various things to watch for, but as Jesus told us, no one knows but God. For us who are living in the waiting, we have the opportunity to be faithful servants. We can live the way Jesus did with integrity and compassion and joy so that if today is the day he comes, we'll be glad to see him. So yeah, that's your 6 a.m. Have a good weekend. Jesus is coming. I have no idea when, but it's something to look forward to, and it's something to be faithful about in the waiting. So have a good weekend.